Hey everyone, welcome to Geek Edge Chat. I am Shirley, and of course, this is our special book review, Geek Edge Chat Reading Corner, our second video, and our basically book reviews, which I wanted to always do. And basically what we're reviewing today is the Song of Achilles, which is written by Madeline Miller, and it came out I think in 2012, and it was a bestseller, which is like crazy, and it's the winner of the Orange Prize for fiction. To be honest, I've never heard of this book until just like a couple months ago. Yeah, it was like in the summer, and I was like, oh, and then I got the audiobook, and that's how I read it first. I listened to it through audiobook, and then I finished by the September. I got it through September. By the end of September I finished it, and then I got this book by my sister in October as a birthday gift, and then I reread it because I wanted to do a review, and I was like starting to do the book reviews, and I was like, all right, let's do that. And so yes, basically Madeline Miller is a historian, and she loves like ancient Greek. So she reimagined the book. The Song of Achilles is a reimagining of Homer's Iliad. I'm gonna be honest, I never read the Iliad. I only read Homer's The Odyssey, I think in like AP English class in high school, and that was basically it. Aside from that, I knew about the Iliad, I knew about Achilles heel, you know, Agamemnon, Helen of Troy. You know, she gets taken by the Prince of Troy, Paris, and you know, they fall in love and blah blah blah, and you know, the basically the Trojan War and the horse, and you know, Troy and all that stuff. I knew about that, especially about because of that I just heard it, you know, history and all that stuff, because I love history. But I also remember it because of, I don't know if you remember Troy, the Wolfgang Petersen film from like, God, when was it, like 2004, where I think it was Brad Pitt played Achilles, and Patroclus, who is the main character of Song of Achilles, is like his cousin in that, and he's like way younger, and it was just funny, and I was like, oh, because basically in the Iliad, they are companions, you know, they're warriors, they have this very closeness and fondness for each other in the Iliad, and it's of course Achilles and Patroclus. And basically, like, from the Iliad, from what I remember, the only reason Achilles goes back to in the Trojan War to fight Hercules, is it Hercules? Not Hercules, Hector. Why am I confusing the gods and the heroes and stuff? Hector, because Hector is the brother of Paris, is because Hector killed Patroclus. That was the only part I remember from any of the history and stuff. And then also in the movie, because that happens in the movie, there's Perseus, of course, and all that stuff. Perseus isn't here, of course, and all that. And so this book is in Patroclus's point of view, perspective. In the beginning of the book, it basically starts with his birth and his childhood, and then it goes into him being exiled, having no kingdom, not being a prince anymore, no parents, and going to live and meeting Achilles, and because Achilles, his father, takes him in, and his mother Theseus is a sea nymph, and she's a goddess, and she does not like Patroclus, because during that time when Patroclus is in that kingdom of, I think it's Thea, it's with a P. But you know, I'm gonna be messing up these names, sorry, not disrespect, but like, you know me and names. And so Patroclus and Achilles, they get close to each other. You know, Patroclus sees in Achilles what he wanted to be, but also starts falling for his, like, you know, his mannerism, the way he looks, his, you know, his personality and stuff. And I don't know, in the book they don't really explain it. She doesn't really explain why Achilles starts noticing Patroclus. Is it because Patroclus starts noticing him so much? But it's like everybody knows it's Achilles, because the prophecy is that Achilles is like the best of the Greeks. You know, he's the warrior, he's the fighter, and he's gonna be, you know, immortality and glory, and that's what he's gonna have for the Greeks and for himself. And so it's like, why does he like Patroclus? Like it doesn't really go into that, but I'll explain it later. And so basically they start getting close when he becomes Patroclus becomes Achilles' companion. They start becoming close, and then Theseus is like, hell no. She takes him away to get trained with Chardon, who you know, he trained all these great. He trained, talking about Hercules that I bring up for some reason. He trained Hercules, and he trained a lot of Greek heroes. So he's gonna train Achilles. Patroclus is like, no, I want to be with Achilles. He follows him to one of the mountains, which I'm totally forgetting right now. And they stay with Charlatan for like, I think 2 years. And by that time they start getting romantically closer, you know, they start getting involved, like, you know, not only like, you know, physically as well. And so, because they're becoming teenagers, there's like 16, and I think 16 is the last year, and then they're adults and they become men and all that stuff. And so, and they're growing, they're learning, he's learning, Patroclus is learning about medicine, and you know, and Achilles and Patroclus are learning about how, like, you know, to like hunt and yeah, I said medicine, right? Like medicine and growing food and then cooking and all that stuff. They're learning a lot of different stuff that they didn't get to learn as, you know, princesses from kingdoms. I'm sorry if you hear a noise, like somebody's doing something downstairs. If you hear that noise, I don't know what the hell's going on downstairs. But anyways, to digress. And so, but then Helen of Troy gets taken from the kingdom, which I'm totally forgetting. What the hell the kingdom is named? I don't know. I wrote these names down, and so the king is like, Achilles' dad is like, you have to go help get Helena back, because Agamemnon, who's the brother of Helen's husband, who I'm totally forgetting his name now, is Menelaus. That's her husband's name. Menelaus is like, yo, we're gonna take people off from these Greek islands and go fight Troy to get Menelaus's, Helen back, his wife. And so, but Helen just wants to stay with Paris. But the thing is that they're not really doing that only to like get Helen back. Of course, with any war, it's like, let's take these resources, let's kill these people, let's take, their bounty and all that stuff. And because Troy is such a beautiful city and has raised themselves to be great, of course they want their resources and taking their things. And that's really what any war really does. And they want to kill the people and all that stuff. So, Helen's like, oh, thank God this happened, because at least it gives us for the Greeks to like Agamemnon and Menelaus to start a war to take over Troy, right? It gives them like an out to be like, no, it was to get Helen back. But anyways, Patroclus, when he was younger, was actually trying to, his dad made him go, to be a betrothal for Helen's hand, but of course Helen picked Menelaus, and it was a lot of different princesses and kings and stuff. And so they did a blood oath to protect the marriage and to, help Menelaus to get back, Helen. And of course, so Patroclus is like, oh man, I have to go into war and all that stuff. I made a blood oath. And Achilles is like, and Achilles' dad wants him to go, be the leader and fight for their kingdom to Troy. And Achilles is like, hell no. Because like, I don't want to do that. I just want to be with my man over here, Patroclus, and love each other and do anything else aside from going to war. He's like, there's going to be many wars. I can find glory there. But then Theseus is like, oh no, because there's a prophecy that Achilles is going to die when Hector dies. And so Theseus takes Achilles away and is like, all right, takes him to another kingdom, and then she marries him to the princess there, and she gets pregnant, and Patroclus is like, oh man, I gotta get my lover back. And so he goes to the island and through, asking Achilles' father, I think it's Peneleus. Peneleus. That was his dad's name. I forgot. Sorry, I should have named the king. And so Patroclus is like, he learns everything about like what, you know, Achilles has a wife, he's about to have a kid, all that stuff. And Achilles was actually lied to by his mom because, you know, his mom was like, do this for me, get married with her and, you know, sleep with her and stuff. And then I'll tell Patroclus that you're here. And that's what Achilles wants. He just wants to be with Patroclus and is like, all right, I'll do this if you tell him. Of course, she didn't. It was his father, the king. And so Patroclus tells Achilles, and Achilles upset, you know, and all that stuff. Yeah. And it's kind of sad. But anyways, and it's kind of sad for the princess. I think her name is it's one of those names. I am so sorry. And I really want to know her name because it was like I wanted to bring up the woman in these books and their characters and their how they're written. I'm gonna bring that up later. So anyways, they go to Troy because Achilles is like, you know what, I want glory. Patroclus has to go because they get found out that they're on this island from these other warriors. That brings them to Troy, and then they're there for like 10 years in Troy until all hell breaks loose. Gods are like upset, you know, like, you know, because Agamemnon is being a hoo-ha. And Achilles and Agamemnon don't get along with each other and all that stuff. And so, because, you know, they got pride and all that stuff, they think, you know, Agamemnon thinks he's the best of Greeks, and, you know, Achilles got his pride and he's like, he thinks he's the best. And Patroclus is just trying to like, be like surviving and trying to be like, look, Achilles. He's noticing the change in Achilles of his murderous acts of killing these villagers and all that stuff and attacking Troy, you know. So all that happens, and of course Achilles is like, nah, we're not gonna fight anymore. He takes his army away, and Patroclus, of course, follows Achilles. But then, you know, the Greeks, because of the gods and stuff, Theseus is like, yo, Zeus, tell Troy to be, you know, stop, you know, get worse and make it worse for the Greeks, and the Greeks are about to lose. And Patroclus cares about you know, the Greek people, these people that he's taking care of them, because he's been he's been helping them because of the infirmary, and he's been caring for them because that's the, you know, what he learned to do, medicine and you know, all that. And so he tells Achilles like, yo, let me put your armor on, which is in the Iliad, and I pretend to be you, but I won't go fight. And Achilles is like, don't fight because I want you to come back to me. But of course Patroclus puts the armor on, and you know, he feels that, I guess, that pride of like being a warrior finally, because he never was looked upon as a warrior. He always was looked upon as undeserving from his father and everybody. So getting that taste of what Achilles gets, it kind of goes to his head. And so he starts fighting, and of course Hector kills him. By killing him, Achilles of course goes crazy and is depressed. He wants to kill himself. Is like, I'm gonna go kill Hector. Kills Hector. He wants to die anyways. He's killing all these like Trojans and all that stuff, but he really wants to die. And of course finally Paris gives him that wish, and he's happy. He has a smile on his face and he dies. But by the end, they're not together, because they put the son grew up, Achilles' son, with Dimitri. I think that's her name. I think that's the princess name. I hope I'm saying it right finally. Dimitri. I hope so. If I'm not, I'm so sorry. I really wanted to say her name right. And so he comes back a little older. He's like, okay, we'll put a tomb of my father after they won the war, of course, with the horse, all that stuff. And then everybody's saying like, oh, but Patroclus' name. But the son's like, nah, because who the hell is he? He nobody. So basically, Patroclus is wandering the earth, not without having his name with Achilles, so he could be with him. And Achilles, of course, is the underworld waiting for Patroclus. And then the ending is Theseus basically giving that wish to Patroclus to be finally with Achilles by putting his name on the tomb. I gave the whole damn book away. I am so sorry. That was like crazy. But what I liked about this book is that this damn cover is pretty. It's the waves, it's blue, and of course the art. This is the artwork? I think it is. It's like a Greek, bronze helmet of Corinthian, early 7th century. Yeah, I love this photo. of the Greek helmet, the ancient Greek helmet, and this cover is really nice. I like the book because of the relationship. I wish we could get more of why Achilles liked Patroclus, but you could see because of Patroclus, because Patroclus really is the character you really admire and respond to and respect and love, because he's so kind and he's just trying to survive and learn and just love Achilles the best he can, and you know, and it's just so sad, you know, and Achilles doesn't, because of his pride, doesn't realize that, you know, he has one of the best things in his life is Patroclus, and you know, he's so enamored with his pride of just wanting to be legendary that he doesn't, you know, that kind of kills Patroclus in the end, because, you know, Patroclus goes into the war because Achilles doesn't want to, because of his pride, because he hates Agamemnon, because Agamemnon did all these offenses to him and all that, and you know, and all that stuff. So it's sad how pride and vanity just like destroys things in your life and the beautiful things that you have in your life. And you know, I just that relationship between Achilles and Patroclus, what I love about it or care about it is because what Patroclus feels for Achilles. The proses that Madeline Miller writes about Patroclus talking about Achilles is beautiful. I'm like, what? It was amazing. What? How he like just explains his hair and how it looks like it's sun-kissed and it's glowing, and it's just like the love you feel, and like how there's this quote that he says, I'll probably butcher this, is how he'll know him through death or by death and all that stuff. Achilles, you know, Patroclus would know him in death alone, and his name, and you know, the way his feet struck the earth and all that stuff when he fights. And it's just, oh my god, and you could feel how Patroclus really loves Achilles, and it's just so beautiful the way he talks about him. And you don't really get Achilles' perspective, because I guess it's not his perspective, it's first person, which would have been cooler, just to get Achilles on how he loves Patroclus. But Patroclus is giving him everything, and Achilles is kind of, he loves him, but he's the pride and all that stuff. You're like, okay, come on, Achilles, like, come on. But thing I don't really like about this book too, I like and then I don't like, is the woman characters. I think they're just there to be emotionally supportive to the male characters, to the men, and it kind of sucks. No, it doesn't kind of suck. It does suck. Like the woman characters, Theseus, who kind of has a little bit more personality and character, Perseus, Dimitri, you know, I hope I'm saying the princess name right, the one who has the kid, Achilles' wife. They're just really there to support Patroclus and Achilles. They're not really there, especially God, now I forgot her name. Patricia. They're just all there to support them and all that stuff, and it's just, it sucks. Perseus, yes, that's what I was trying to say. She's just really there to support Patroclus, and especially Patroclus and his feelings for Achilles, and like what's going on during Troy, and trying to get Achilles back from all his murderous acts because of war and all that stuff. And you know, she's someone there to support him through all this turmoil that he's going through with Achilles. And I'm like, these characters, these women should have their own personality and their own vices and say and just personality out there, just not to support the men and all that stuff. So I'm repeating myself, but I'm sorry. Yeah, that's why. But again, the ending is what I really love. I think I like this book, but why I really like I like it, but then why I really liked it and I put it a top notch is the ending, because Theseus and Patroclus just talk about Achilles and how much Patroclus loved Achilles and all these memories in the end. And you know, this is Patroclus's ghost, or shade as they call it, and he's talking to Theseus, and they're looking at the Achilles' tomb, and you know, he's telling all these stories about why he loved her son. And Theseus is like, you know, she hates mortals, and she hated him because he was a mortal, and she didn't want them to be together. And she realizes that they really did love each other, that Patroclus really did love him and did anything for him. And finally giving that wish to Patroclus of them being together in the underworld was just beautiful. And then the ending with Achilles and Patroclus, you know, shadows or shades in the underworld touching each other, and the light just bursting, like, you know, like just spilling over when their hands touch each other and they meet finally. Oh my god, this is all spoiler. This is a spoiler review. It's just beautiful. I cried. I was crying because of the ending. So I thought it was a really good book. There's some things I should have saw Achilles' perspective of why he loved Patroclus a little bit more. The woman characters should have been their own characters, not be emotional baggage support, just emotional supportive to the men only characters. But again, it's the Achilles and Patroclus relationship that just brings this book together. It makes it better than I thought it would have. You know, it could have been if the relationship wasn't that strong. So because of the relationship and, you know, that ending, it puts it at top notch a little bit of being a really damn good book. So yes, this is my review of A Song of Achilles. And yeah, I'm sorry about like rambling, going too long. This, if you don't know about Geek As Chat, we do film reviews and TV shows. Come, you know, watch our review. We're doing Selena, the one that's coming on Netflix this Friday. That's gonna be a new movie review or TV show review. I think it's a TV. I really don't know. Subscribe, like, you know, hit that bell. Tell me what other books you want me to review, or what books you're reading now, what audiobooks you're reading, because I'm actually reading an audiobook right now. Not reading, but listening, which I think is a book I'm gonna review when I finally get the physical copy, because I'll reread it and review it like this. I'm listening to the hell is it? Red, White, and Royal Blue. I'm gonna tell you, it's in third person, and that shit is just weird to me. So I'm like, But I'll give a more in-depth review when that book, the physical book, comes along, and you know I finished the audiobook as well. So yeah, it's an interesting book. I'm on chapter 6 on the audiobook. So yeah, write down below what you want us to review: books, movies, TV shows, and yes, thanks for watching. Peace out.